What is going on, party people? We have had an election. At least preliminary results are in. Looks like we know the deal here. And now what? Now what for your real estate? Now what for waiting until after the election? Now what for interest rates? Now what for DFW home values? We're getting into it, folks. We're going to make our way through those details and more. It won't be all post-election, but we're going to get into what does the election mean for buying, selling, investing, and owning real estate here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as well as a little bit of some potential policy impact. But we're going to take your questions, as we always do. 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. If you have any questions about your personal real estate world and what might impact you, what might be important to you, let us know. We'll be thrilled to be of value to you to answer your questions. 214-310-0008 or always online at toddtremonti.team.com.
And this first segment is going to be brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his team at Cardinal Financial. If you are looking to get a mortgage, refinance, you just have questions about what the heck is going on with the mortgage industry, reach out to Patrick and his team. You can go to patrickgleros.com, G-L-A-R-O-S, patrickgleros.com. 972-728-3420 is the phone number. NMLS number 308804. I got to tell you, I was pretty stunned by the results on Tuesday.
Look, regardless of which candidate you
No. A 2-loss Alabama team coming in at 11 ahead of a 1-loss SMU.
Okay.
Shocking result.
Right. Well played, well timed. I like the whole thing. I also liked Baylor's win over TCU, and we're gonna get to business today as well. Okay, well played, well timed joke. I didn't see that coming, but we do certainly have some other results that people are impacted by. So President Trump definitely looks like a winner here. And regardless of whether that's who you voted for or not, it's going to have some real impact in our local market. Initial response, pretty darn favorable in the markets. We'll see how it shakes out between now and an inauguration or anything like that. But the reality is the election is over. Potentially the texts and the calls are over.
No more ads.
Oh, gosh. The ads. Let's get back to college football with just other ridiculous ads. Lots of cars and insurance. Here's the thing. That is, in our local Dallas-Fort Worth market, that may be the biggest thing. Obviously, the party and the platform and the candidate has a huge impact. But also, just the end of the uncertainty has a tremendous impact. We are already seeing the flow through, the follow through, the implications of that. And to be honest, we were seeing it 3, 4, 5 days before the election even ended. Just people that had, finally were ready to move on and do the thing they wanted to do. So, you take a lot of calls from our clients and prospects and neighbors and people that are thinking about buying and selling. There's been momentum leading up to the election, and then we see a real opening of opportunities since then. But what are you hearing when the phone rings in our office at the Todd Tremonti home selling team, Ian, just from buyers and sellers right now?
Yeah, I mean, people are more open to having the conversation now than they were. There was a lot more I'm going to wait conversations, right? Or I think we might do something, but I really just want to have just kind of an initial talk. Whereas right now, definitely even just like the last week, kind of the last few days before the election, it's kind of the weekend before, the week before, people, I think, had kind of got to the place where in their own mind, they had a little bit more clarity of, okay, regardless of what the results are, we're going to do this. We're going to move forward. We're going to buy. We're going to sell. We're going to do both. Like, people began to have more clarity. And really, since then, we've definitely had more clarity from people. Like, we've had more folks ringing in, wanting right now appointments, wanting right now sit downs and conversations, because they've decided that, now's when we're going to do it.
Yeah, and look, obviously the election matters. There are people that were saying, I'm going to buy a house if Trump wins. I'm moving if Kamala wins. We're staying put if Kamala wins, whatever. So those people are going to either be frustrated or relieved or whatever. I think there's a much larger group, and it's the feeling based on our team and the phones and our interactions with people, that they're just glad that the whole darn thing is over and they can try to get back to some semblance of normalcy, which I don't know that normal even exists anymore. We live in such a crazy, erratic world where so much happens and we have so much information about all of it. But there are people that just want to get back to living, and the real estate part of living has been delayed for 2 years or more, where people have been frozen in indecision. I don't know if I should buy or sell right now based on rates or values or the economy or war or politics or seasonality. And we are already seeing, even before the election was over, people that are like, I'm ready to just go ahead and do it. I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to sell. This is what our family wants. This is what we can afford. We're just going to do it. We're not going to try to time everything perfectly. I don't feel as scared or frustrated. I'm tired of waiting. Let's go. And I think there's some wisdom to that, but we'll talk about why in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, I got just a bunch of messages Wednesday and Thursday. It was just like, man, like, now we can just move forward. Like, there's no more uncertainty. Like, let's just move forward and let's just like get on with our lives again. And that wasn't people that was wanting to do anything in real estate. That was just the sentiment of people.
Yeah, all over social media and the media. And, at least initially, I'm a fan of like a variety of sources, right? Conservative to liberal and whatever, fiscally, all the things. At least initially, there was this sense of, okay, what's next? Let's move forward. Let's be kind to each other. Let's go, take care of your family, grow your business, buy your house, sell your house, invest for the future. So let's just hope that we can get a little bit of that feel back and sustain that. And for those of you that are considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, it is my informed, expert, experienced opinion that there is a window of opportunity right now before the spring market where if you want to buy a home, that includes if you want to sell and buy a home, you're buying at a discount right now. Now, it doesn't always feel like a discount because you might be paying a number that is the highest number that home has ever sold for. It is my educated, experienced, informed opinion that barring some unforeseen disaster, those homes will never sell this low ever again. That Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas is going to be a net importer of people, of businesses, of opportunity. We are going to continue to grow. We are going to continue to have some constraints around having enough housing for the people that want to own and rent it. I was talking to one of my longtime repeat clients just this week who wants to make a significant investment in rental property in the area. And one of his questions was, do you think there's still going to be demand for high-end rental properties for the foreseeable future? And Gibson and I looked at the numbers in that area specifically, but it's true of almost every area of DFW. And we just said, look, I think there's at least one more lifetime, a generation or more of almost impenetrable demand for housing, whether that's leasing and most likely almost always at a high end, meaning at a premium, and for owning. I also saw, who was it the other day? Patrick Bet-David. No, it wasn't. Someone was interviewing a very well-regarded economist on housing. And he just said, look, our children, if our children want to own homes, they're going to have to be independently wealthy. Like that's just the way it's going to be. And I've talked on this show for a decade or so that in New York and LA and San Diego, that's kind of been the norm for a while. It's like, man, if you're young, you just rent. If you're young, you live with 5 people, you live in 400 square feet. And someday you may have the privilege to wildly overpay for a little bitty place, or you move way out or across the country. I'm not saying that Dallas-Fort Worth is going to be to that extreme tomorrow, but we are headed in that direction. And I think there's a window to own property right now before some optimism, potentially before a 2025 steady rate reduction, before some more real estate optimism. If you have the resources and you can afford it and your family is ready and you want to buy property, call us right now. 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008. If you're heading to, work or sports or activities or whatever, just save that in your phone and text us or call us when you're ready. My point is we should have that conversation now. You might decide to buy next year, next month, next decade. We'll be here whenever. We've been here for 20 plus years. My point is we should have that conversation now. And if you're prepared and it's right for you, buying in the next 60 to 90 days, I think is going to be something that people look back on later and go, gosh, I'm so glad we did that. And others will say, man, I'm so frustrated that we missed it. It was so obvious.
Well, I took a look at kind of post-election stats for the last two cycles, so 2016 and 2020. And what I saw was in the month of November, the numbers were lower. The numbers in November were
so you're talking election years.
Election years, total number of homes sold. So that's purchases and sales.
Okay.
So it's both
just
sides.
Total transactions.
Total transactions. Then in November, what we saw was kind of mimicked early part of the year. January, February are typically the slowest months that we have
still
here.
Active, but slower than other months.
Yeah, you're talking less than 10,000 transactions, which is still significant, like in the nines, 8s and 9s. That's what November mimicked. And then in December, that mimicked more along the lines of what you would see late spring, early summer.
Okay, so pause real quick. You went back and you looked at how far did you go back?
I went back to 2016.
Okay, so the last several election cycles. And what you're seeing is that in the month of the election in November, it mimicked one of the lower activity months of the year.
Which makes sense because things are leading up to that.
And then in December, it mimicked a late spring, early summer, like some of the highest activity months.
Yeah, I mean, you basically saw about a 20 to 25% drop off from September, October into November. And then in December, you saw that 20-25% come back, plus an additional 20 to 25%.
Yeah. So 25% above that standard norm. So you had a very active December following a pretty slow November. And then historically, I know, and you can speak to the data if you saw something different here, that following spring and early summer tend to be the peak of the 4-year cycle, barring some other interest rate movement or whatever, which just means there tends to be a very active and optimistic spring summer market in the year following an election, regardless of which party wins. And I've looked at this data for the last 5 or 6 election cycles. I've been in real estate that time. And it happens almost exactly the same way every time. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks off and that can bleed into February, or you can see a little bit more active.
You kind of have to ignore the last one because of COVID and rates just went crazy, but
the activity came, it was just delayed.
It certainly mimicked that back in the one before.
Okay, so summarize that real quick. What the heck does that mean for me if I'm a buyer or a seller in Dallas-Fort Worth right now? That means what's about to happen? What should I do? What should I be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we're saying is, hey, right now you have an opportunity to jump in before things get a little bit more crazy than what you've seen.
And why would I want to do that?
Well, it depends. If you want to save money on the purchasing side of things, now is your opportunity. We've said for a long time, supply and demand is very real, right? It's just basic economics. When you have more people that are wanting to purchase homes, which is what we have seen historically after the election, prices are going to go up because there's going to be more multiple offers. There's going to be higher demand for the homes that are there. We still don't have a ton of inventory. So the inventory that we do have is going to be more highly sought after and fought for. And so people are going to end up having to pay more. So now's your opportunity to kind of get in there on the purchasing side before that happens.
Yeah, statistically right now, we're not in what people would call a buyer's market where there's just a glut of houses and buyers can be real picky and sellers are super desperate. We are also not in what we have been in for most of the last, 10 to 12 years,
right,
which is a seller's market, which is not very many houses at all and tons of demand. We are in statistically what people would call a stable market, but the market has not been stable. It has been erratic, and one neighborhood will feel like a seller's market, and then one block of that neighborhood will feel like a buyer's market. And then 1 month it will feel flat, and the next month it'll feel really competitive in the seller's market again. So it's what I've been calling the murky middle. If you listen to the show, you're probably sick of hearing me say that. But all that to say, the statistics and the emotions and the activities of the market have not all been in sync. And what Ian is saying, that obviously I agree with, is there's an opportunity right now where we really know where we are. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We know where we are today, and where we are today is that prices have stagnated a little bit. They haven't really dipped or tanked much. They've gone down a tick in a couple of areas, but basically that's just like they haven't gone up much. And then in other areas, they've gone up a good bit, but not a ton. We expect that when there's some more optimism and competition and potentially, most likely, basically promised lower rates next year, that we will see a lot more competition, therefore prices popping up pretty rapidly. And then as a buyer, you're just going to have to pay more and compete against more people and get less negotiability, less working with from sellers. So what we're saying is if you're a buyer and you're ready financially and lifestyle-wise, you win big by putting a house under contract in the next 45 days and closing on it and moving into it in the next, we can even say 90 to 120 days. Mm-hmm. As long as you lock in your price and terms, we can negotiate that you don't even move in until January or February or whatever's convenient for you. But you want to have today's prices, maybe at tomorrow's rates, with today's lack of competition, and still get the exact same house in the same area you want, probably with a little more inventory right now, more homes to pick from than you would later as well.
It's why it becomes even more important to have a full-time professional that's going to cater a plan of action specifically for you, right? The whole one-size-fits-all thing just isn't smart in a time period where things are a little wonky. Like they're not. It's not straightforward on the buy side or the sell side.
Is that really real though? Because most people know 397 real estate agents. Are they really? Is there really a difference?
We have had so many calls recently, and I'm not making that up. We've had a number of calls from people that have had their home on the market and didn't sell, and they were not happy with the job that their agent did. They felt like the agent was being a little lazy. They felt like the agent just didn't do the things that they said they were going to do. There wasn't a marketing plan. We get these calls
in every market, but lately
it's just been more and more.
Basically daily, we're getting someone that's like, look, I don't know, my agent's just not getting the job done. And then, of course, we want to be very, very careful and maintain ethical boundaries. We're not trying to steal clients from people. But when people call us and say, I'm really desperate for some help, I need an outcome, and we're just not getting there, we are able to then show them how different real estate agents can be. There are many well-intentioned, nice, kind people who just don't have the resources, the experience. They don't have the proprietary marketing systems or the buy-side process with the technology, the staff, the resources, the shared effort to guarantee results, to produce consistent results regardless of the market, which all comes back to what you just said, customizing a plan, creating a unique strategy for the person or the family or the property, and certainly for the market conditions, instead of this one size fits all, which for the last 10 years or more has been a spring, summer, seller's market, lazy agent strategy.
DP Lambert, Goosehead Insurance is who you need to reach out to about your home insurance and your auto insurance. If you have not talked to him recently, I absolutely recommend that you should. He is going to guide you. Him and his team are going to make sure that they get you the best possible insurance they can get you at the best possible price. Or they're going to tell you, hey, I think right now, because of just how crazy the insurance industry is, I think you should go and try over here instead. I think this would actually be better for you. And I really appreciate the fact that he's doing that.
Yep.
That he's not just making us do the thing which is actually more expensive.
He's not just selling his thing. No. He's a broker, so he can shop you to multiple carriers, and he's going to almost always be the best option. But on occasion, when he's not, he's going to do what's right for you. He always has, and he's done it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
When he did it personally for me.
And of our clients and friends. We renewed with him because he had the best option in-house. And I say in-house, he's a broker, with someone he brought to us. But either way, he's going to take great care of you. dp.lambert@goosehead.com. One of the questions we get every week, all the time, And it's a great question. I'm always impressed when someone is humble enough to ask the question. And basically, the question I'm talking about is like, what are the biggest mistakes people are making right now? And then all of a sudden, also, what are the wisest decisions people are making? Well, one of the biggest mistakes people are making right now in the real estate market on the buy side is waiting. Sometimes waiting is the right choice, but a lot of people have been waiting just because they were confused or frustrated or they didn't have answers, but they also haven't sought out answers. So we offer free strategy sessions to help you get answers to your questions. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to sign or commit to anything. You can ask a question like, hey, is this possible? When should we buy? How can we afford it? Is this better than that? What about this area? What about this property type? What about HOAs? All those things. We're finding a much higher percentage than normal of people that realize they could totally buy right now. And actually, it would probably be financially better for them to buy right now if it's the right timing for them and their family. And then people are really, really happily getting to get into the situation they already have wanted to be in for a long time. And they're having the freedom from the anxiety of waiting for that. So one of the biggest mistakes is people are waiting, and it's costing them big time.
I heard a lot of eye rolls, Was that many when you said waiting? Because I just know people are thinking, but that's just real to speak because you want me to go buy a house. We're not even saying waiting to go purchase a home.
Yeah.
We're saying waiting to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like that's what people I think way too often do is they wait too long to just start the convo.
Most people wait too long, and then it just removes their options. It's like, last minute you're starving and you just kind of eat whatever's easiest, not what's healthiest for you, right? So, by the way, I am also saying, not all, but many, many, many people who are waiting to buy are in a less advantageous financial decision. For example, I think right now, if you're capable and you want to buy, you'll get a better price on the house and you'll have more options and you'll get a much more willing to negotiate seller. My prediction, and seems just almost guaranteed, but anything could happen, is if you waited till, let's just say, April or May or June, you're going to have that house is going to be worth maybe 2 or 3% more. Way more people are going to compete with you on it, so you're going to have to pay more. And that seller is going to be way more confident and less negotiable on repairs and credits and things like that. All three of those are disadvantages to you. Now, if you're not ready financially and family and timing, then you should wait. But a lot of people they don't have a really good reason to wait other than frustration and anxiety, and that's costing them big time. And then on the selling side, a lot of people are making the mistake on the selling side of being impulsive and just throwing their house out on the market without a strategy right now. I would rather you wait because I do think values will increase, so you can be a little more patient on the selling side. If you're selling and buying, I would do that now, but I would do it with a great strategy. I wouldn't just wing it. I wouldn't look for cheap. I wouldn't look for quickest. I wouldn't look for, path of least resistance, although we have a process at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team where we do guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. And we can do that really quickly for you as long as you're willing to work with us on the front end to get fully prepared. Just go to toddtremontiteam.com. We can talk way more about buying, selling, or investing. Just have the conversation. You don't have to do anything yet, but have that conversation so you know your options and you sleep well at night knowing what your plan is for your real estate, your assets, your wealth building, your family. Not just your host, Todd Tremonti. We are live in studio with full-on producer mode Ian. The English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie, here talking politics, presidential election results. Guys, he's dug into the stats, post-election research activity, real estate activity. It's a full-service operation today.
I'm editing today. I'm doing everything.
The English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie. Okay, folks, we've got a presidential election, at least theoretically, statistically, decided. We've talked about the implications of that earlier in the show. If you missed it, check out the podcast, DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. Super long name, so it's easy to find wherever you get your podcasts. And tell a friend or two, especially if they're thinking about a move within the area or to the area. We'll take great care of them over at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, toddtremontiteam.com. The other big topic, at least in my mind lately, outside of politics and real estate, is obviously the holiday season. And I'm a big Christmas guy. I don't know how you feel about that, Ian, but I know.
I've been known to dabble in Christmas.
A little dabbling in the Daniels family. They keep one or more trees up year round. And generally,
houseplants, Todd. They're houseplants.
Generally, as the data geek, statistical analysis guru that Ian has, he usually has something to share with us here.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, knowing that there's approximately 44 days, somewhere around 9 hours, 52 minutes, and 40 seconds to go
until
Christmas.
Until Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay,
kind of round about that.
Now, before that, though, and listen, this is a heated argument this time of year. Because I played Christmas music in the truck with my youngest daughter a week and a half ago.
I applaud you.
And people don't like it. You know, not all. Some people love it, but other people say, inevitably, with anger in their hearts, what do they say?
You should wait till after Thanksgiving. And I would say that they're cringes.
Yeah, they say things like, what about Thanksgiving? And to me, that's like saying, man, I can't wait till the weekend. They're like, what about Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday's a day too. I'm like, listen. Chill out. I'm really excited about Christmas. I'm excited to celebrate the birth of Christ. I'm excited about the tree and the lights and the fun and the cool and the snacks. That does not mean
David's pretzels are almost here.
Oh my gosh. That doesn't mean though that we're not going to smoke a turkey and have a glorious feast.
Or make Chinese food.
And or do the duck. And we'll get into that. But it doesn't mean we're not going to slow down and be just wildly grateful for all that we have and have a traditional Thanksgiving holiday. We're just going to do it during a Christmas season with music and lights and decorations. Now, let's just pause for a quick second and say what a great gift Thanksgiving is in an election year. You know, to just shift our focus, win or lose, be reminded of what an incredible country we're in, what an incredible community we're in here in Dallas-Fort Worth, where there's so much to be thankful for. And even when your candidate doesn't win, I certainly believe we still live in the best, most free, wonderful country on the planet, and we live in a community that is one of the most awesome places in that country. So lots to be thankful for. As we think about, business and real estate, there's tons to be thankful for on the business front, and we'll get into some of that. But you mentioned a second ago what you and your family do for Thanksgiving, and we're pretty much all food people here. But you like to go your own way, Ian Daniels. What's the Thanksgiving tradition at the Daniels house?
I do. Before that, let me just tell you that this first segment is, as always, going to be brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his team over at Cardinal Financial. Patrick is your go-to for questions in the mortgage industry, whether you're looking to take out a mortgage, refinance, you just have questions. Reach out to Patrick. Go to his website, patrickgleros.com, Glaros, patrickgleros.com. You can give him a call, 972-728-3420. NMLS number 308804. Go to toddfrommyteam.com where you can click on the radio tab and find all of our recommended pros and vendors. So here's the deal.
Okay.
I'm not from America.
It turns out.
Fact. Mm-hmm. In England, Christmas is when we would normally do our turkey or something like that. Yeah. I either do a turkey or a beef Wellington. What that enabled us to do was say, hey, let's make Thanksgiving our own thing. We're still going to go and celebrate with family and do the traditional Thanksgiving meals, but let's do something cool that we like. And so I make a traditional Chinese crispy Peking-style duck every Thanksgiving.
Amen.
And then I might cook some other Chinese dishes to go along with it.
God bless America and those 9 hours of culinary school that you had, because it sounds incredible. So okay, just your crew, or this is like a guests and family situation?
We've had people over, but we do it regardless, so we'll call it just our crew.
So this is the Thanksgiving meal no matter what. This is lunch or dinner?
I normally do mid-afternoon.
It's a dinner.
So it's a dinner.
It's a dinner situation. Dinner's the right call for Thanksgiving.
We normally do like a brunch and a dinner.
God, I love a combo meal. I even like a fusion restaurant, but a combo meal, a brunch, a dinner, a late dinner.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are doing what I would call the Peking duck. Maybe it's Peking. Crispy duck.
Yep.
You cook.
Yep.
If I'm right, Audrey is 100% spectator, and both of you are really happy about that.
Oh, 100%. She will clean the kitchen for me, thankfully.
But she likes to sit and relax and watch you do your thing.
She wants to sit with a mimosa and watch me cook, and that's my favorite thing to do.
Daniel's family Thanksgiving. Okay, at the Tremonti house, I will smoke a turkey. And I will be honest, the early years of smoking a turkey, it was very good, but I hadn't figured out the brine yet. Once we figured out the brine, it's just excellent every time.
Kind of important key.
Yeah, it was still good, but anyway, that's a whole nother deal. I will confess, admit, disclose that the turkey is not even close to my favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal. Now, we do that same meal almost exact for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we have some big like Christmas Eve meal traditions and other things like that. So we'll do a big Italian meal and some other stuff like that. But I could just eat the sides all day, every day.
Yeah.
And there's like 37 sides at our house. We go crazy. We almost always have a full house with family and guests and friends. I also like a good July Friendsgiving celebration. We've done May before, May's Giving. Anyway, love Thanksgiving. So much to be thankful for. So unbelievably blessed and thankful for all the amazing people, for this team we have here at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, for this community we have in DFW, for the real estate market that we're fortunate to be a part of and contribute to. What a lot of people I think often need as a bit of a cure to the anxieties and frustrations of the world is to pause for just a second and remember how much we do have to be thankful for. Even in the worst moments of lack of health or job loss or, just chaos in life that we seem to always have with the access we have to information, to just recognize health and family and friendship and community and connection and shelter and food and the things that truly are not a certainty for so many people, so many places. So just want to express our gratitude for you, our friends, our neighbors, our listeners, our viewers, for those that support us as we help people buy and sell homes, and support us as we help equip and train and consult with agents all over North America, as we get to go and be leaders in our homes and churches and communities. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for your support and your trust and your encouragement to keep going.
I'm super grateful this year. I feel like I'm grateful every year, but I'm really grateful this year because it's been a really hard year, not being able to be really outside with our neighbors and friends for various reasons. And so, this year, really Halloween was the first time that we got to do that, and we had 26 folks, in our front driveway, and we were all hanging out, and it was oh man, so grateful that we get to do that again. It's just, it's awesome.
And you've done a great job, especially at our conference for real estate agents this year when you spoke and shared more of that story, just of the difficulties with some crazy health stuff, external stuff this year that's limited your ability to do those things. And you did exactly what I just said. You found the way in that to be grateful. It's kind of like you stub your toe and you forget how great it is just to not have a stub toe. And you're like, God, I just never knew how limiting that was. You had a string of significant frustrations this year, and I'm proud of you and encouraged by you that it led to gratitude for the people in your life and the things that you did have. And then obviously recovery and overcoming those things is a huge celebration. Okay, we got to make a move here. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. I'm Todd, and we are still talking about real estate. So this week there's a notable focus on Princeton, the community of Princeton in the Northeast Dallas area. And I actually spent some time in Princeton, more than I have in a while, over the last couple of weeks. Occasionally I'll get one of my girls in the car and they'll say, let's go explore. So we grabbed a smoothie, my littlest one, and we went and explored and drove all around Princeton, out around Lake Lavon, and up in and around Princeton, just to I hadn't been out there in a little bit, to see the amount of growth and expansion and the uniqueness of that community and the amount of opportunity that is still there if you're a homes on land person like I am, like we are. If you want to live on an acre or 5 acres or half an acre, there's still so many great options, whether it's out by the lake, out east of McKinney, out near the rapidly growing McKinney Airport, not quite to Farmersville, but not in town McKinney, not in town Lucas, but getting out a bit, but not way, way out, with access into town.
It's one of those cities that when you say Princeton, it feels like it's going to be 5 hours away, and it's 20 minutes.
Yep, depending on where you're measuring from. It's just not that far. So if you're McKinney, North Dallas, it's just kind of outer ring, but still part of the connectivity of the community. But it is where you could get master plan community, traditionally built small lot house, and you could also potentially still find 10, 15 acres. You could be waterfront, you can be rural, you can be suburban, and really, some of Princeton's really growing up to where there's a bit of an urban center. It's certainly not downtown Dallas or Fort Worth, but you've got walkable, shoppable community options there.
It's a little bit more affordable.
It's a lot of bit more affordable, again, depending on what we're comparing to. But yes, your dollar's going to go a bit farther in Princeton than it is in some closer in areas like an Allen or, even Keller type communities. So what's crazy is the amount of growth. In the last 10 years, Princeton has more than doubled. Now, that started out 10,000-ish people and is now, low 22, 23,000 people. But that's significant. That changes things. That changes your roads, your post office, the amount of access you have to grocery stores and movie theaters and things like that. Princeton's got everything you need. It just doesn't have 5 of everything you need yet. But it's coming. The growth is there. So, there's one generation that will probably get to live in Princeton as still a small town. You go east and north and it's super suburban or rural. And you go south or west, and it's pretty suburban and in town. But it's going to get swallowed up and just be part of the glob of the city pretty soon. But nearby McKinney has retained that kind of edge of the Metroplex feel with some boutique niche feel, and I think Princeton will do that for decades to come. But it really is booming. It's growing very rapidly. But it's in an organized way. The city's done a good job. It's safe. It's clean. It's well regarded. The schools are growing in a good way.
It's a pretty popular place. It seems for like first time home buyers.
For sure.
We looked up kind of just some statistics in Princeton itself, and kind of the average age, the median age is right around 30 years old.
Yeah, and you can still get a house there under $400,000, which you can't say.
Like $350, you can get really nice homes.
Yeah, once in a while we'll see someone crack the code on like a 325, and there's not a lot of older homes in Princeton, but there are some, and that tends to be the case. But you're seeing big master plan communities where 350, 375, 385 gets you a nice, newish, if not brand new home, and then certainly in the 4s and 5s, big, nice, new houses that you can that are approachable.
We sit down with folks, and when we have the initial conversation with people, we're trying to understand, like, what is it that you truly want, right? And sometimes what people really want is they want to be, let's just take Collin County because that's where Princeton is, but they may say, like, we want to be close to 75 and we want to be in Plano or Allen, right?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, what's your budget? Well, our budget's
under
375.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, like, okay, let's talk about what that's going to get you here. And then they may not like that. Yeah. This is then where we have the conversation of like, hey, let's go one layer out from where it is that would be, you quote, your ideal location.
Yeah. And then
but you can now find the property that you're
and
looking
here's
for.
Probably, let me be careful here. Let's say 65, 70% of the time or more, the response to Princeton in this situation, exactly what you're saying. You're like, well, I really wanted Plano or Allen or maybe McKinney, is like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just had no idea.
Yep.
Another 10 minutes and I could get a bigger lot, more land, probably another 100 to 300 square feet for the same money.
The kiddos went to overnight camp with our church.
Yep.
At Lake Lavon.
Yeah.
And I had to go pick them. I was taking them and picking them up. And I remember looking at the address and the location. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to like cut into so much of my day dropping them off. And then I put it in my map and it was like 26 minutes. And I was like,
25 minutes.
I was like, that's not bad.
That's exactly where my little bit and I were driving around. We drove by the camp a couple times. There's some property out there I've had my eye on forever and I've been too slow to act. So now it's tripled in value. But yeah, Princeton is just a very cool town. And I think town is the right word for it right now, but it's rapidly becoming, city status. It's a city, but you know what I mean? Just size wise, it's gone from 10,000 to 22, 23,000. It'll probably be 30, 40,000 in the next decade, and has room to grow. But very cool place. If you're in the DFW area and you've never looked at it, take a look. If you're, listening to this from out of the market, thinking about a move here, as many, many, many do. To Ian's point, it's that outer ring suburb that won't be outer ring for a terribly, a whole lot longer. But your dollar goes a little farther. You're looking at a bigger lot. You're looking at a bigger house, or you're looking at saving some money and still having access to great restaurants and entertainment. Certainly, if you're willing to drive, 10 or 15 minutes more on occasion, then you get the best of both worlds because you're 5 minutes from McKinney. You're 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe from a lot of other things. Frisco, Allen, Plano, Richardson. You're less than 45 minutes from Oklahoma, Lake Texoma. There's just so much going on out there. Farmersville's 10, 15 minutes away. Lake Levant is right there. There's just a lot within reach, including, sports and entertainment and big box. But in town, you got everything you need and a lot of really positives, especially for families, but certainly singles as well. And some over 55 options there as well. So if you're interested in Princeton, let us know. 214-310-0008. We still guarantee to sell your home over the average price and under the average time. Right now, we're averaging 8-ish% over the average price. There's some areas that's more like 6.9, and there's some areas where that's 8.2, 8.3, on average about 8% more than your neighbors are getting selling similar homes at the same time in the same market conditions. The difference would be our incredible team members, our 7-step proprietary marketing system, and a couple of secret items that we'll share with you if we sit down. On the buy side, we're still guaranteeing to save you at least $5,000 throughout the purchase process of buying a home. And I got to be honest, there's been an uptick just in the last week or two coming right up to the election and post where we're killing it for our buyers right now. And we think there's a window of opportunity to get something under contract before the end of the calendar year, and we could schedule a closing whenever. Buy at this year's prices, borrow at next year's rates, get ahead of what we think will be a pretty optimistic spring competitive market, and win big and be proud of that decision for really the rest of your life, certainly the rest of your wealth building stretch. 214-310-0008. Call or text us. You cannot start a conversation too early about buying or selling. Sadly, most people start that conversation way too late. 214-310-0008 or
TouchMoneyTeam.com.
All right, we talked about being thankful, and I was once again reminded of how thankful I am for Republic Title.
Oh my gosh, this week.
So much stuff going on, and it was not with Republic Title.
So many stupid things from other title
I don't even want to
companies.
really get into it other than to say, like, this other company just didn't read anything that was sent to them and absolutely messed up a ton of stuff that we are now having to try and unravel.
And it's not just like, other well-known title companies. It's the home builders and their in-house title and all that kind of stuff. Republic Title does it right. They hire great people. They have incredible internal systems. They've been dominant in this region for a generation.
They read.
And they care about the consumer, and they're loyal to the transaction, meaning they take care of both sides. The buyer, the seller, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the lender. They just pay attention, and that sounds so basic, but it is not, and the details can be really costly. So Republic Title is who you want to talk to. RepublicTitle.com.
Good Garage Floors. You're a big fan of them here, too.
I'm a big fan of them because we have turned what was a pretty funky backyard slab into a really cool basketball pickleball court. The garage floors, of course, we did, and they're clean. And, as we've gotten some rain and things, it's so much easier to deal with what would have been kind of stinky, musty floors and just kind of squeegee those things off. Keep it clean, increase the value, protect the future integrity of those floors and the structures. GoodGarageFloors.com. And there's a little bit of time left for this fall discount they're offering our clients and our friends and our listeners. So go get a significant discount with GoodGarageFloors.com. Tell them Todd Tremonti sent you, or Ian Daniels. GoodGarageFloors.com.
All right, and I know you think of yourself as a little bit of a connoisseur of words, maybe, and a bit of an expert in real estate.
Maybe.
How would you combine and link the word Blue jeans.
First of all, the podcast people really get the benefit here because they can see me close my eyes and focus as you lead up to this.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone benefits from blue jeans. By the way, the most engaged social media post I've ever had was a post that said, how many times can you wear blue jeans before washing them? It blew up. It was an international controversy.
What is your answer on that?
Until they're so filthy that it's visible. And a lot of people are going to think that's gross. But actually, that ties into where I would go with this. Blue jeans are such a gift because they alleviate what I call decision fatigue. Not what a lot of people call decision fatigue. You just put the jeans on every day. You don't have to worry about your decision of what you're going to wear. And that freedom allows you to focus on much bigger, more important decisions. So the ability to protect your energy level, to protect your wisdom, to protect your capacity to think critically is a gift. It's a big time ability, whether that's as a husband, a wife, a parent, a coach, a teacher, a business person, or whatever. Your ability to make great decisions is really going to dictate your future, your life, the health of the people around you. And something as simple as blue jeans, like I'm just going to wear jeans every day. And the incredible ability to wear jeans for a week or 2 or 3, depending on your level of how often you can wear them, really is a gift. Now, sidebar, Levi's, the original blue jean denim pants company, says you're not supposed to wash them, that you're supposed to put them in the freezer. So go look that up if you want a weird fact of the day. But here's a much less weird and much more exciting fact. Our team is full of full-time, dedicated real estate pros at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team that I have hand-selected, deeply and critically vetted, and Ian and others have helped me train and equip and mentor. These are full-time, fully dedicated, well-educated, highly intelligent, caring people whose trophies and wins are the success stories of our clients. It's not production awards and diamond awards and $1 million producer awards, which are usually bogus. The trophies of our team for these incredible people that you get to work with are the incredible life-changing financial leapfrog opportunities to sell their home over the average price and under the average time, to save big and find homes they otherwise wouldn't have known about with our team. We are the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team. We're here to help. We guarantee the results. Go to toddtremontiteam.com or call or text 214-310-0008 and
Google Todd Tremonti and check out over 700 5-star reviews.